Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nerdmode, officially doing a post commentary for you guys today. We're going to be talking about, just classic games that I used to play back in the day, give you guys a little bit more information about me personally. That way you guys can better understand, where I came from, what my whole purpose was of the video game era, especially with today's standards. Gaming is definitely something that a majority of the male sex does a lot of, so yeah, I guess that's how I'll break it down for you guys. But with that said, there also are females, of course, that play video games. It's not like a, like a uncommon thing or whatever. I guess that's what I'm trying to place into an overall effect. But with that said, I'm going to jump into the map and weapon loadout, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to be using the M416, the almighty god king weapon of Battlefield 3 currently. The M16 had to give up its crown about a couple of months ago, and now the M416 is holding it high above its head with its chin placed firmly above the average person's, looking down at the ground standard. So, the M416 that I used in this gameplay, I'm going to be using a silencer and a red dot. I'm going to be using also a MP443 suppressed pistol. I still hate that pistol, especially when it's suppressed. If it's not suppressed, it's actually an alright pistol, don't get me wrong. But suppressors in Battlefield 3 are so much different depending on your weapon. Pistols suffer greatly from a suppressor, but they also benefit you if you can get up behind the enemy team, of course. But, I don't know. I don't really like using the M9 or MP443 suppressed. I would definitely stray away from those. The 1911 is alright. Again, it's still a suppressor, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to have stealth, at least for one of your weapons, definitely go with the 443. That'd be my best suggestion for you. So, with that placed into effect, I'm going to be using the medical pack with the defibrillators, and the squad perk today is going to be known as cover as usual. I'm going to be playing on Operation Metro on 100% tickets on the game type known as Rush. So, I guess with that said, guys, we're going to jump into the main gist of it, and I'm going to let you guys know what I played in the past, and maybe that'll help you better understand why I am the way I am, or why I act the way I act in a online setting. So, with I guess basically that disclaimer thrown out in front of your guys' eyes real quick, we are going to get started. So, some of the stuff I can remember, I mean, of course, I could go on and on about games I played, stuff that I was relevant in, that was around the community during the general time of PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64, what else is there? I can't think of what it's called. The Atari, there we go. So, there was a lot I could go into, but I would definitely say one of my favorite games from the Atari, or however you pronounce it, was definitely... Oh, now I'm having trouble thinking of the game now. Galaga, there we go. Man, I'm sorry. Galaga was definitely one of the best games I've ever played. I actually still have it on Xbox right now. I downloaded it. If any of you guys are unsure of what I'm talking about, definitely go check it out. It is an amazing game. It's actually really cheap on Xbox Live for sure. I couldn't imagine PlayStation being much more expensive. PC, I don't know if you can get it. I would think so. It would make logical sense. But don't hold me completely to that because I am not positive on that. So, Galaga was an awesome game. Definitely one of my favorites. Definitely something that, I still play today from time to time. But overall, you get into the more modern consoles and you get like, we'll talk about the Nintendo 64 now. Like, you had Mario, which was a really good game. Zelda definitely. I don't know, there's a lot. Super Smash Brothers was another one that my cousin brought up. Me and my cousin aren't really as familiar anymore, but we used to back in the day. We used to be like best friends, I guess. But that changed. He's in college now, and I don't really talk to him that much anymore. But overall, Mario was definitely one of those games. He showed me a lot of these cool little glitches that his dad found out way back in the day, and they were cool. I mean, I was really impressed by that kind of stuff. And he was more of a generalized, sports guy. He still played Call of Duty and stuff like that. He obviously gave that all up when he went to college for his freshman year, which was, I want to say, 2 years ago. And yeah, he doesn't really play games anymore. He kind of dabbles within, maybe iPhone apps and stuff like that. But yeah, Mario was definitely a really good game, and he showed me a lot of cool little, nooks and crannies and little tricks and tips and all that kind of stuff of how to, I guess, just have fun with it. Mario has never been like that competitive game where you're like, oh, Noah died, I'm so mad. You know what I mean? I mean, you might get frustrated if you get really far in the level, but other than that, Mario was just a simplified game, and it was really good for its time, definitely. I don't think anyone could neglect that observation or that, place of effect. Zelda was another game I played on the Nintendo 64, man. I mean, if I could even explain to you guys how much I sucked at games, it was unbelievable. Like, I was so relaxed, I guess, when I played them. I wasn't as tense as I am now when I get bullshitted by some of the stupidest stuff I've seen in video game history, especially. But, you know, the old classic games were just so much more relaxing because they, you know, one, there wasn't multiplayer, it wasn't based around connection, and two, I mean, they were much more friendly, you know what I mean? They weren't like, hey, yo, let's get on Xbox and play, you know, where you're both at different places. It was like, yo, let's co-op, bro, let's go kick some ass or something like that. And, you know, I kind of wish games would stay to that relevance, but unfortunately they don't. There are games still out there. I mean, there's a lot of single-player games, a lot of games that get overlooked, but a majority of the games that perform at top-notch and are, you know, top sellers in the community definitely are not really chilled and relaxed games. You know, single-player only games are good, but there's still frustrating crap within them. If you're talking about Assassin's Creed, it could be 100% synchronization. Other games, it could be finding or beating a certain boss, you know what I mean? There's just stuff like that, and a lot of the more classic games were a lot more lenient towards just random sporadic events that could occur, and you'd be like, oh, that's awesome, you know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, those visual effects were so good back in the day. Now today's standards, you'd be like, the fuck am I watching, bro? This is like some 8-bit stuff right here. I'm so scared. Something like that. But overall, definitely Zelda was a good game. I kind of never really got really into it, but I do recognize that I did play a little bit, and of course, you know, I was just so bad at communication, or at least figuring out what was going on or what I was supposed to do for my main objective in those kind of games. But I guess it was a thought that mattered, and overall I just kind of messed around and was like swiping at random objects, I guess, from what I remember, picking up those little charms, or jewels, I guess. So then we get into the PlayStation days when I was a PlayStation user back, you know, quite a while ago, to be honest. I haven't owned a PS3 in about 4 to 5 years now, so it's been a fair amount of time. I think that's correct, I want to say, but I could be incorrect on that. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get across to you guys is that back in PS2 days, I used to play so much Star Wars. Oh man, Star Wars was just shit. Star Wars is just amazing. If it wasn't for the movies, I don't even want to think how bad movies would be in today's standards. They'd be like 10 years behind where we are now. I think a lot of people can kind of open their eyes, especially from your parents' point of view, and be like, yep, that movie basically started the trilogy for, you know, awesome movies, and especially high-budget ones. That's a sheer fact right there almost for you. But I played a little bit of the Battlefield 2 things, or maybe it was Battlefront. I don't remember what it was called, to be honest with you now. Anyway, you had, like, engage in combat, take over zones. I used to just kill horror. That's all I used to do. I used to just get, like, hundreds of kills and that crap. And it was just the best game ever. I remember the first, I think it's Battlefront. I want to say that's it. Now that I think about it, I think we'll say Battlefront. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm not sure positive on that, so I do apologize if that's incorrect. But anyway, the first one, you could go prone, and then the second one you couldn't, and so on. But the first one was always my favorite for that sheer fact that you could go prone. I used to just, like, glitch, like, you know what I mean, like when you lay next to a wall, it kind of covers up half of your face, kind of like in real life it would. But in the same reality aspect, I used to just sit there and snipe people for days, you know, run around with the assault rifle class and just go absolute ham on them and just, you know, laser blast the shit out of them. And it was just awesome. I had so much fun. That game was just so much fun. And I wish games would come to that realization that, you know, let's not screw the people that are good at the game. Let's screw the people that are bad at it. That way they actually get better and they see an improvement instead of this whole, like, yep, a level 1 killed me by a noob tube. That's great. Good job, you know, DICE or whoever's making the game. Especially Infinity Ward or Activision, Treyarch, any of them. Definitely make sure you focus on rewarding your good players because your market's pretty much dead almost. I know a lot of people say if Black Ops 2 fails that the market is well, Call of Duty almost should shut down after that. I mean, I couldn't imagine their sales doing much better. But back onto the main nostalgia games. You know, Star Wars was just a really good game. I still love the movies today. I watch them from time to time. I mean, I've seen them thousands of times, so there's not really much that I can be like, ooh, I haven't seen that before. So, overall, definitely Star Wars was a good game. The Battlefront series, or, you know, whatever it's called, definitely were really well constructed games, and I would still go back and play them today if I actually owned them or had the ability to do such a, you know, interaction between that. But definitely co-op or playing by yourself on that was just the blast. Never really played the campaign at least as much as you would have thought. The second one I did play it though, but the second one had different mechanics followed by its previous installments. But with that said, I used to be huge into racing games, and some of you guys might be like, "What? How does that work? You're an FPS guy. What? I'm confused." Yeah, I know. I used to love playing Need for Speed. Need for Speed back in the day, the good versions, the ones that you actually had control of your vehicle, those were awesome. Best games ever. Me and my cousin used to play them. The same cousin that's in college now. That's I want to say he's a sophomore, junior. It's probably a sophomore. But anyway, what I'm trying to get to is we used to have so much fun. And I mean, I was never really a relaxed person for racing games, at least, because I hate time limits. I'm not a very good test taker when it comes to that. Like, when I say that, I can perform and get good grades in it, but that time limit's always been a concern of mine. It's anxiety, I guess you'd say, when it comes to a time limit. I hate it. Assassin's Creed pisses me off when they put time limits in there. I want to choke the people that put that crap in there. But back to the main point of this. You know, that whole like adrenaline rush kind of setting is just amazing for Need for Speed. Back in the day, the newer ones are a little more retarded. I've heard from people they're not as original and classic as they used to be, which is unfortunate. That's kind of why I stray away from that kind of stuff. And overall, I had a lot of fun playing Need for Speed, especially that's one title I can remember. And the overall atmosphere of customizing your vehicle and having this overall ability to, I don't know, just have fun was just, you know, out of this world. It was something new to me. I was young, you know, or younger. I guess I'm 18 now, so however you want to place that into effect, depending on how old you guys are. Anyway, point is you know, it was just an amazing game. I had so much fun, and I was a lot more relaxed than I ever have been playing Xbox or PS3 for that matter. Not very relaxed when it comes to those kind of games, but you know, I don't. As I've told you guys before, I just don't like getting bullshitted. So I guess that's really a lot of the games I've played. I mean, I've played a lot of games. If you guys can think of any of the original classics, I've probably played them. But as it comes right now, I'm trying to think of games personally that I've had a lot of experience with, and it just kind of drifts into different categories and different atmospheres. You know, I've played a lot of MMOs on the computer. You know, I played a lot of like the more like character-based games for, again, PC and stuff like that. But a lot of the console stuff, if you want to go into like Super Smash Brothers, oh, favorite game. Cousin used to have it. I never had it personally, but it was an amazing game, as I've stated in this previous installment of this commentary, that it was just a fun atmosphere, and I wish games would kind of go back to that, but I don't know how that would go over in today's standards, considering that everyone's like, blood, gore, I want to see that head pop right off, and I want to see that zit on his face squeeze out that pus or something. So, I don't know, hopefully that wasn't too disgusting for you guys, but I will see you guys in the next installment. This is Nerd Mode On, signing off, guys.